If you prioritize your friendships, and let's say they're a little bit wonky, over your partner's well-being, are you a good friend or just a bad partner? If you keep giving chances for your partner to treat you better, are you a good partner or just delusional? And when it comes to being hurt in love, how long does it take before you lose sight of who's the one who's actually hurting you? You know how we do it here. We narrate, we analyze, we often judge, and we like to believe that we know better and would do better. Hopefully. Aiden and Carrie are back at her place in her New York City apartment. They're getting ready for bed, brushing the teeth, the cute couple evening routine, and it gets disturbed.
Yeah, just a sec.
Who is it?
It's Big calling, and he is in a pickle.
What's the problem?
She's in town. She's at the Mercer. We were supposed to get together tonight. She hasn't gotten back to me.
Remember from the last video, the actress, Willow? Oh, he was so impressed by this person.
Fuck, I think I'm in love.
But now, it seems like Big is experiencing something he never thought possible. This woman is a little bit unavailable. They were supposed to meet up, but now she's not calling him. She's not reaching out to him, and he's just freaking out. The thing is that he cannot reach her, but she can reach him. Now, Big called Carrie because they are friends, okay? And he needs to talk to friend about it.
Listen to this.
I miss you. I can't wait until I'm in New York. In your arms. I'm in a New York state of mind.
New York state of mind?
And as per usual, Carrie does not act as a friend. She just, mocks a little bit the girlfriend again or judges her in some way, and then she needs to go.
Good night.
Should I call her again?
No. Good night.
So this is the first time we see Mr. Cool not being that cool. Mr. Big is usually the one who pulls the strings and his puppets play the way he wants to play. And he's the one who usually has this sense of, let's say, distance in relationship. He's the one who calls the shots. It was like that with Carrie. And if we think about the situation with Natasha and also his first wife, we could say that Big is just a narcissistic asshole. So it does shook us a little bit when we see him basically suffering for the lack of attention he's getting from this new person.
I flew out to LA to take her to that MTV award thing, and then she totally dissed me. I was following her around like a goddamn dog.
So if we say that Big is avoidant, or he was always avoidant, it means that he likes to be the one who is keeping the distance in a relationship. But paired with someone who is creating the distance right now, triggers his, let's say, anxious style, right? He doesn't really like there being the distance because he's not the one who's controlling it.
She can reach me, but I can't get her. Ever.
Which makes us think that keeping distance is not about his fear of getting close. It's more about the sense of control at having someone at a distance. A sense of someone being into them, someone wanting them, but they're the one who say, no, this is everything that I can give to you. Him chasing this person, calling multiple times.
I called all 5 of her numbers.
And getting really anxious about how she doesn't call him back or reach out to him is more about gaining control or get that control, get that affirmation that she actually wants him, rather than there being actual investment in this relationship. You see, how I see this situation is that it's all about the pedestal effect. The effect, is it how you say it? Pedestal? Why does it sound like I'm talking about shit? It's the effect that Carrie also experienced with Mr. Big. Someone who you admire for the sole purpose of the status or what they represent to you rather than who they are.
Willow Summers is crazy about me.
Willow is an actress and successful at that, known. He was so shooked and also impressed with himself that he actually scored someone like Willow, clearly showing that his facade of, I don't care and I'm just, this kind of person only works when there are people underneath him, right? When he has a sense of being the better one. So first he gets struck by the fact that this actress actually wants him, but then that's taken away because she's so unreachable, because she's actually having him at the distance. We could even say that it happens similar to what happened between Carrie and Big, because Big wants a sense of confirmation or validation of his own self-worth. He is obsessed with this person not giving it to him. He cannot just say, you know what, this is not working and I'm out of here. The same way Carrie couldn't when it comes to Big. And the reason is because that desperate need for validation, for self-worth attached to the status or what you represent in society can be a bitch. It's about what this actress represents for him. If she wants him, it means that he is such a big shot in those circles. Comparing to Carrie, he sees Willow as a true catch. And that's not to say that he is more into this person as he ever was with Carrie, like what is real love or not love, but it does show us that Big himself is addicted to the validation, to the sense of control and being seen and perceived as someone. And when he meets someone who embodies all of that status, all of that worth, he is desperate to get attention because that's how it will mean that he is also worthy. The same way as Carrie with Big. It's more about how Carrie's worth will grow if she's with someone like Big, who she put on a higher level, rather than who Big actually is. So she ends the call and she goes back to Aiden. And he is not the happiest. I mean, why did Carrie need to leave the bathroom to talk with Big?
Carrie, you tell me nothing's going on, then nothing's going on.
But Carrie, on the other hand, she explains it that she knows that he is bothered by Big calling Carrie. So she didn't want to, talk in front of him.
I know how uncomfortable it makes you.
How uncomfortable it makes me or you?
Me, yes, I'm uncomfortable.
And I'm gonna tell you from my side, I saw it like that also. The way the scene was done, it was clear that, okay, Carrie just feels a bit awkward that Big called again, but she also doesn't want to ditch Big because I guess there's some sense of, I need to be supportive and I need to be the good person with Carrie, which Carrie is also always struggling with.
He's having girlfriend problems. I'm gonna be just a minute.
She just didn't want to have that conversation in front of Aiden, right? But if you put yourself into Aiden's shoes, the guy had to accept that his girlfriend is still in contact with someone who he was betrayed with, right? Okay? He does not like him. And clearly, this is crossing his boundaries for Big to still be in Carrie's friendship. So imagine the person receiving a call from this sad friend and they walk out of the room almost like they don't want you to hear what they talk about. If you look at it from that perspective, then clearly you're like, man, I would lose it if I was Aiden. I get what Carrie did. It made total sense. But when you put in the situation they're actually in and the trust that Aiden has to really have to not think that something is now happening, that was the wrong move. Now, Aiden is keeping it very cash, okay? It's not like he's jealous or anything or angry. He's just like, if you tell me that... or how did he say? If you tell me there's nothing there, then I trust that. And then he also starts kind of joking about it. He starts joking that he's not afraid of Big and he would totally take him down.
You think I'm threatened by him?
No, not threatened.
I could take him.
He went into some references about a Green Goblin versus Batman and how people don't expect that the Green Goblin, which I guess is Aiden, would win, but then he is much powerful or something, and he also has a sidekick, Pete, so...
See, I'm the Green Hornet. I got the moves.
And it's all very playful, and it's all very sad, okay? It's like this poor soul.
Plus, I got Pete, and he's like Kato. Aren't you, boy? Hey, Petey! Come here, boy! Come here! Come here, boy!
Now, Carrie is also shook. She's like, what the fuck is he talking about? And she also expresses it to her friends. This is the most bizarre thing she ever experienced, and she cannot understand that Aiden needs to literally turn into superhero to deal with Big.
In order to deal with Big, he had to turn himself into the Green Lantern.
Like, what the F? Can't he just trust that there is nothing between the two of them and not be so intimidated by Big? Before I go into what I think about Carrie in this situation, let me talk a little bit about Aiden. In a way, we can say that he kind of understands that there's no winning in this. And even if he opens to Carrie, she's just gonna deflect in some way. So he probably challenges his frustrations and his anger, joking about it. And there is this mix between making fun of himself and then being like, I would win against him, almost like a way to show that he is threatened, but also not really admitting it, right? He feels uncomfortable, but he just, he turns it into humor. And I'm gonna tell you, usually people who are the funniest have the most trauma to deal with. No, I'm not calling myself out. I'll do that in my book 20 years from now. The thing is that Aiden does not want to come across as controlling partner to Carrie. He wants to respect what they agreed on, but every time Carrie is actually talking or interacting with Big, and in this case, even hiding it, the fact that he doesn't even know the dinner she had with him, it just reminds him that these boundaries are basically blurred. This is weird, and he does not know how to deal with it. Carrie, on the other side, the fact that she sees it as, oh my God, he's such a child, to me personally, reaffirms what I talked about last time, that she does not see Aiden as equal. There is no part of her that actually empathizes with this man, understands him, and sees this as his way of dealing with the whole fucked up situation. For her, she's like, oh my God, he's pathetic. Really? Like, he's intimidated by Big? And that's not what Carrie wants. Deep down, she does not want that. She wants someone like Big, who is like so confident that even borders on narcissism. But that's what makes her feel like she's some special person who tames this guy that is so confident. And when it comes to Aiden, it's everything is just a little bit too available because she needs to deal with her shit. So to get out of this pickle, to make Aiden more confident in his relationship with Carrie, she has an idea.
Maybe I should try to get Big and him and me together.
What? That's how they can all talk like adults. And Aiden can see how her and Big have nothing between the two of them. That she is his partner and period.
Did you have a big plate of crazy for lunch?
All in all, Carrie is again playing with our mind, because how the fuck are we supposed to accept that she will show Aiden how she loves Aiden by having a meeting with the three of them, and then he's gonna see how there's nothing between her and Big. But cutting Big off is not the way to show him that she loves him. Make it make sense. And make it make sense because she is putting herself in a position where there is no win. Imagine this. The three of them meet. Carrie ignores Big, right? Carrie is like all over Aiden and she is, really cold towards Big. That could trigger in Aiden, is she actually be authentic? Is she on purpose now all over me because she's trying to compensate? On the other hand, if she's not going to be all over Aiden, if she's going to be friendly with Big, that again can trigger in Aiden the question, what the F is this? Right? She's not even treating me as a boyfriend. Like, it's very difficult to find a middle ground when you're dealing with the situation she's in. Okay, let's be clear. She cheated on this person. Like, she cheated with this person on Aiden, and now she wants to show how there's nothing. On the other hand, how can this come out good for Aiden? There is no way, because if he says that he feels uncomfortable with how the three of them interacted or how Carrie and him and Big interacted, he's gonna come off as jealous, right? But if he doesn't say anything and he just goes with it, then he's letting people walk all over him. He's letting Big walk all over him. I would say that situation would only have one outcome, Aiden being the moron, however you turn it. But right now, it's weekend, okay? And Aiden and Carrie are going back to the countryside. Aiden is working outside and Carrie is having some me time with the magazine. But this me time is again interrupted by her new best friend.
Hello?
Hey, it's me.
And Big is going through it. You see, Willow, the actress, shut it down. She broke it off with him and he cannot take it.
She said she never wants to see me again.
I'm so sorry.
I don't even know what I did.
Now, Carrie again offers the support she can offer to Big.
Well, she's crazy. I'm telling you, she has the eyes of a crazy person.
I mean, how can there be a beautiful, successful woman who actually rejects Big? She has to be cuckoo, okay? That's the only explanation. Or the fact that she's just trying to be supportive towards Big, okay? You know, she's the crazy one. Don't worry. You'll get over it and yada da.
When are you coming back to the city?
Monday?
Not till Monday?
And today's Thursday. So that feels too far. Now, there is this awkward, silence and maybe even silent pressure where Carrie starts to feel like she needs to offer Big to come there, but also secretly hoping he's not gonna do.
Well, I'd invite you out here, but it's just so far away.
How far?
Here's the thing. I think that Carrie is actually struggling cutting Big off because then she is not a good person. Then she is not the mature person who, despite it all, will still give him a shoulder to cry on and just in general is a good friend. And there is also this part where maybe she genuinely tries to have a friendship with Big. And this is how she sees it. Like she needs to be supportive. The problem is that this is not Miranda. This is not Charlotte. This is not her usual friends where she just offers support when they need it and that's it. This is literally a man that, first of all, what kind of support does he actually need? Because he got rejected from a person he just had a couple of flings, a couple of hookups, what it looks like. One might say she's prioritizing how Big will see her rather than how Aiden will feel, which makes you wonder, who is she actually prioritizing?
I'll come up for an hour. We'll talk. And then I'll head home.
Uh-huh.
How do I get there? Let me get a pen.
And again, we see who Big is, or he just confirms again that he's all about himself. He does not give an F about Carrie or her relationship, and the least, Aiden. He's only focused on how he needs to get comfort, how he needs to be, how he needs to feel better about the whole situation. And if needed, he's gonna show up at the cabin on the countryside at Aiden's place. Period. And for that, the only person who should be blamed is Carrie, because Carrie continuously shows Big how she does not respect Aiden. The same way Carrie wouldn't respect if Big was still with Natasha. Do you think Carrie would respect Natasha? The girl Big cheated on with Carrie? Please. For me personally, it does feel that there is some kind of driver when it comes to Carrie in her relationship with Big, where she just feels that her being needed by Big is something so important, or her being a good friend to Big is like the most important thing there is. And maybe what Carrie should ask herself is, am I treating Big this way, and also Aiden and myself, because I actually want to have friendship with him? Or is it just because I'm afraid to lose him, to let go of him in my life? Maybe if she doesn't offer this support to Big, who knows? He just might disappear. If you think about it, Big did teach her from an early development of their relationship that there are gonna be very small moments when Big actually needs her or actually wants her, and she needs to respond to that. So it could be very hard for her to, even today, even though she might be in love with another person and not have any feelings for Big, difficult to actually let go of that belief. So if Big needs her, she needs to respond. If she would really understand who Big is, then in this very moment, Carrie could finally realize how he's a douche. The first thing is he clearly craves control over actual deep emotion. He's the one who wants to call the shots, be it with Carrie or this new actress. And when this new actress is not giving him that, he gets obsessed because the fuck, how is it possible that he's not pulling the strings here?
She can reach me, but I can't get her.
The second thing is that he's clearly drawn to what he cannot have. It's not about who this person is. It's about if I can have this, then this is horror.
And I was such a chump.
We're used to him being avoidant, but when someone else is avoidant, it triggers his anxiousness, which just shows that it's about the challenge. It's about the novelty, not about him actually being invested in a relationship. I mean, if we think about the marriage with Natasha, he got married with her like that and then got bored with her like that. All of this should be indicators of what kind of person Big is and that he is not partnership material, right? In general, if this was your friend and you would see them going through all of this, you would be like, boy, you need therapy, okay? You need to reevaluate. You need to go to a calmness, mindfulness resort and you need to figure shit out, okay? Because this is not good for society. Now, on top of that, Carrie could clearly see that Big is not so much about how he is avoidant and he just does not do the intimacy and the love thing and the pursuit thing, but see that, yes, he will do it if he's actually interested.
I really put myself out there and she drop kicked me right in the fucking heart.
He just didn't want to do it with Carrie. Now, the reality is that, from the last video, how she was, surprised that Big is dating someone and how she was, bashing her from the first go and also now, clearly Carrie does not want to see this as something real, right? This is just Big being a little bit cuckoo, okay? He needs to calm down. This is not real love. So she's not even seeing what is he showing her as a person, as someone who she deep down still wants to be with. I also see Carrie loving this situation. Some part of her even likes that Big is, even if he's going through this whole turmoil with this actress and the fact that, it pulls on her strings a little bit, the fact that he's so into someone. I think that she loves the fact that she is needed, that somehow Big needs to call her and she's the only friend he has and he needs to get advice for her or confide in her. In some way, she gets off on it.
I have to see you.
It could feel a little bit intoxicated how the man you always craved needs you so much, is willing to do everything to come and talk to you, to see you, that you are his reference of comfort. It's so blinding that she doesn't really even see how wrong this is. And the person who gets the slap in all of this, well, it's poor Aiden. Because Aiden now needs to accept the Big is coming.
I invited him up. I didn't mean to.
Aiden, as expected, is baffled. He cannot believe that he is put in this situation.
I don't want him in my
I
house.
totally understand. Look, he's gonna come up here and we're gonna have a quick talk and then he's gonna go right back to the city where he belongs.
He was not asked if it's okay for Big to come there. He already expressed multiple times how uncomfortable he is with Big being in Carrie's life. And now he is literally pushed to accept Big in his home. Let that sink in. This poor man. Poor because Carrie is putting him through all of this. But on the other side, if he would actually understand why is he driven to be with Carrie, what does Carrie represent to him when she keeps on breaking his boundaries, maybe he wouldn't make these stupid decisions. Like if I was Aiden, I would look in Carrie and I would say, Biz, no. No. I don't care. No. That's it.
That crazy movie star lady broke up with him. He's devastated. He has no one else to talk to.
I'm going to be a little bit rude here, but Carrie is pathetic. She is pathetic. Period. Okay? Trying to be a good friend to a man that hurt her so many times, a man who threatens her relationship over and over again is just a little bit moron-like. Now, where she also goes very wrong is how she is dismissing Aiden in this moment. You know, it's almost like I already invited Big. This already happened. Like, he's gonna come. We're gonna make this big. And I promise you, I love you. There's nothing to worry about, as she hugs him.
Hey, you're my man. And I love you. He's just a friend in pain.
But it's empty words. The reality is that these are empty words to Aiden because she keeps on doing things that go against what he feels comfortable with. And it's almost like she is forcing Aiden to treat Big the same way Carrie is treating Big. She is forcing Aiden to be at Big's whims the same way she is. If these were ancient times, it's almost like Big is the ruler and everyone needs to, do things that will just, keep him calm and things will be good. Right? This is the vibe that I'm getting. Like, Carrie is almost, she doesn't even realize how toxic her relationship with Big is and how much power Big has in her life. Like, she's literally convincing her current partner to accept Big. Let that sink in. So far, she never put Aiden before Big. She always chooses how she's gonna be perceived with Big, how Big will feel, over how this will impact Aiden. Every action she had towards Aiden was also triggered by Big, even with the cheating and everything. When the illusion, the fairy tale of them being this perfect love story got tainted with the fact that they cheated and Natasha found out, which is like, how can it be a love story if we're just two cheaters? Even at that time, she went back to Aiden and tried to be better for Aiden because the fairy tale with Big couldn't survive anymore or couldn't exist anymore. So telling to Aiden this is just another lie. And maybe she doesn't even get it.
I would never do this, but he's really hurting.
Aiden is not happy about it. I mean, clearly he shouldn't even be happy about it. And that's when Carrie apparently decides that it's good to evoke some empathy in Aiden. I mean, has he never gotten his heart broken by a woman? And he's looking at Carrie and he's like, bitch.
Come on, haven't you ever had a girl break your...
The delusion. But, what is he supposed to do? He agrees and he does expect Big to be in shambles because if this is what Carrie decided and this is the reason why he's coming up here, he better be destroyed.
Thank you.
He's got some balls coming up here.
And I'm looking at this scene and I'm thinking, you, my man, do not realize that Carrie has some balls pushing you in this situation. His anger is totally misplaced. He's looking at Big and he's pissed that Big put Carrie in this situation where he will now come there and they'll have to deal with it without realizing that Carrie is the one who calls the shots, right? Carrie is the one who owes respect to Aiden. Carrie is the one who can say and should say no to Big. He let Carrie deceive him so many times, cross his boundaries so many times that he literally loses sight that she is the one who's hurting him. And I think that's quite common. Like, it's quite common when you get so entangled or so enmeshed with someone who is not good for you that you literally cannot accept the fact that this person is the one who's creating the problem and is hurting you, right? And you literally believe that it's all the rest. It's not like you lie to yourself. You literally cannot see the truth because the truth has been squished so many times already. And you allowed it. So there's no way you're going to accept that you did wrong. That's the dangerous part of toxic relationship. When suddenly your partner is never the problem. It's always other people. But you don't realize that you were trained to see it that way. Because every time there was a problem, this person showed you how they're not the problem. It's this person. It's even you. So you almost got trained that there is no way that this person can do wrong. If they do wrong, it's because they were weak in that moment. Bis. Oof. Hours are passing, and as much as Carrie is hoping that Big won't show up, he pulls up the driveway. It's pouring rain outside, and he actually doesn't step out of the car. He's waiting inside, so Carrie goes to join him.
Why didn't you come in?
He actually feels a little bit uncomfortable going in the cabin, going to Aiden's house.
I can't talk about this in front of him.
Now, my suspicion is that he feels uncomfortable showing how destroyed he is in front of Aiden, because so far he was holding the upper hand. Now, the thing is that in reality, Big does not care about Aiden. Does not care. Like, he doesn't care about Aiden being uncomfortable about the situation. I think it's again about how Big will be seen in Aiden's eyes. Carrie convinced him to go in, also because Aiden needs to see that Big is destroyed. Otherwise, she's gonna get the bad end of it, right? The short end of the stick.
Yes, you can. And you better.
Again, Carrie keeps creating this understanding that Aiden is the sheltered outside person of the relationship between Big and Carrie. It's like Big and Carrie are these tight friends and they share so much history and they need to make sure that Aiden is okay. She is prioritizing her relationship with Big because she actually sees it that way, be it history, being the involvement, rather than the person she's with now. We find out that it's been 2 hours since Big entered the cabin and he drank a lot and he is wasted.
Let's go have a drink and a smoke sometime.
Now, the scene is like this. Carrie is sitting with Aiden. Aiden is pissed, looking at Big, and Big is just drunk. And he finally starts to talk about Willow. I think he sees her in a magazine or something, and he starts to, reveal his feelings. Big stands up, and he is ready to go home. Just the fact that he's not ready to go home.
Thanks.
Because he is wasted. He can barely stand. Carrie is like, oh my God, you can't go like this. And she even says to Aiden, oh my God, he can't drive back like this or something like that. Aiden is pissed and he goes out of the cabin. And Big says that he's going to call his driver. But somehow this is not an option. Bitch, please.
Call my driver.
We're an hour outside New York.
What do you mean? He has a freaking driver who he can call to pick him up. Why not? Well, not because the show needs to go on, right? So, Big says how Aiden doesn't want him there, and wow, shocker. But we see Aiden coming back and he throws the pillow and the blanket to Big. Again, being the big guy, right? Or the good guy, the bigger person, not the big guy. I mean, what can you expect? His limits have been pushed to the limitless point. Does that make sense? It's the next morning. Big is sleeping, passed out on the couch. Carrie's behind the table, drinking coffee. And Aiden is outside playing basketball, which looks like him just throwing ball in the wall, clearly managing his anger. Big gets woken up by this noise, and Carrie wants him to go out and make friends with Aiden.
Isn't it a little early?
You have to go out there and make friends with him.
Because if he wants Carrie to be in his life, that's what he needs to do. Otherwise, she'll be gone. Now, Big is a little bit confused because that's not what adult men do. And that's how we get another confirmation that Big is a child and he never really grew up. Because what do you mean? But okay, I guess we're going with that.
And if you and Aiden don't become at least a little friendly, I'm not going to be able to stay in your life.
Again, who is her partner? She is not outside with Aiden talking about, okay, we need to get Big out. He needs to go home. No, she is inside the cabin trying to make Big talk with Aiden so he can stay or she can feel comfortable having Big in her life. I'm confused, but okay. Like, it's giving Big is her boyfriend and Aiden is her brother, and she needs to make sure that they work it out. Right? Right. Like, the show is trying to push this narrative of how tight the two of them are, as though there's no past between the two of them and that we just forget all of that. It's almost like these two just cannot separate. But the reality is they cannot separate because they're toxic to each other. They're trauma bonded. Not even trauma bonded. It's just using each other for their own well-being. That's it. Okay? Maybe one can say two narcissists coming together, each pushing in their own direction to make themselves feel better. It also seems to me that Carrie is the one who's doing all these moves to keep Big in, but she tries to frame it as though she's doing it so Big can have her in. Like, I'm helping you. It's confusing, okay? It's confusing and pathetic. So this prompts Big to actually go out and talk to Aiden. He goes out and he starts with apologizing for getting drunk.
I didn't mean to come up and ruin your weekend or anything.
Now, this might shock you, but I believe Big. I genuinely believe that he did not want to ruin the weekend between Carrie, or the weekend for Carrie and Aiden. I think he just doesn't give a fuck about the two of them. Like, that's not, his plan was not, oh my God, I want to go there and destroy it. No, he does not care. He cares about his own well-being. So, does that make it better? No. But at least he's honest. They start playing ball together, but every time Aiden throws the ball to Big, he actually first throws it in the mud and then to Big. Clearly being pissed, right?
A little muddy, I guess, all that rain, huh?
Is this immature from Aiden's side? 100%. Can you also understand him? 100%. Could he deal with it better? Yes. He could have said, look, man, it's okay, but I think it's time for you to go. Period. No. What transpired is them getting into fight. Okay? It's Green Goblin versus Batman. We're finally seeing the showdown. They fall to the ground. They are hugging and rolling in the mud. Carrie runs out and she is trying to separate them, but secretly loving that two men are fighting over her. She's that good, people. You're middle-aged! Unfortunately, she's not able to separate them, but luckily, the sidekick comes. Sidekick? Yes, comes to the rescue. It's Pete and he is going after Big. Now, this makes the whole fight stop, and Aiden and Big become best friends. Yes, just like that, people. They're in the cabin, sitting behind the table, and Big is yet again explaining how frustrating it is to be with someone like Willow.
She could reach me. I couldn't get her.
See? That's fucked up.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever get hurt by your partner, even betrayed, cheated on, and then they beg you to get back together and you say yes, but then they also don't want to cut the person they cheated on you with out, don't get too upset. Don't get too angry. You never know. This very person might just become your friend. Ta-da! Yep, that's what happened. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about all of this shenanigans. How do you see Aiden and Carrie? What's driving them? And also Big. Did you change any perceptions you had about them so far? Did anything particular just reinforced what you already knew? And above all, trust your individuality.